So we technically have some old world news today. Hello everyone and welcome back. And I've been getting a lot of messages about the start collecting kits, the Battalion boxes. Now the Warriors of Chaos box did disappear recently, but there's a fair assumption that we're going to get a redo. But it's not only that. So, as of the time of recording this video, the Grand Cafe Basic Battalion box, not the reinforcement set, is gone, alongside the Tomb Kings and the Bretonnian box. There have been a lot of rumblings about the potential of brand new models, and maybe even jumping into a second edition. It's very odd though, considering that usually Games Workshop wait until the very last minute or until an announcement happens before stuff gets replaced. This has just happened with, say for example, the Dark Elves in Age of Sigmar, the Cities of Sigmar. When the Cities of Sigmar got their brand new announcement, a lot of troops just disappeared. Now, it does make a lot of sense that the two launch boxes were removed. While Games Workshop did say that they were going to be there indefinitely, it was always an assumption that those were going to get eventually removed and replaced with standard Battalion boxes, which I think is still going to be the case. Though it might just end up being reinforcement boxes, or that they're going to start retooling all the different types of battalions. The battalion boxes have all been incredible value for money, barring, I'd say, the Empire, since you really only play 2,000 point games, at least most players, and you can't really bring 2 steam tanks from that. But all the others, especially like the Warriors of Chaos one, the Beastmen one, they've all been great. Hell, the High Elf Realms Battalion one, well, that one just allows you to get an extra unit if you decide to take some Shrace and War Lions. That being said, I don't think Games Workshop should outright get rid of the battalions, because they are fairly important. You know, start collecting kits are very, very important for not only new players, but older players who might be interested in starting up a brand new army. It's not like these were all core key units. Mind you, the dwarf one was pretty overpowered. Well, still is, because it's still in stock. So what does this potentially mean? Well, there's 2 things that could happen. Number 1, the battalion boxes are going to get retooled and likely be a little bit smaller. This is basically what's been happening with 40k. The combat patrol boxes not too good. Remember, the Games Workshop has been incentivizing smaller play. In fact, they've even got a system for that in the old world. The Battle March system was implemented to allow for 500 to, I think, 750 point games. So it's very likely we could see a new style of box come out with that system in mind. So a much smaller box with smaller units and even a character in there just to kind of get people started. I don't really think that this would work out too well, considering that Old World has always kind of pushed itself to larger armies, even when compared to, say, 40k. High model counts in Warhammer Fantasy Battle have always really been a thing, barring like the very early editions, but you get what I mean. The army boxes of old, or the battalion boxes of old, those were very good value for money for what they were. I wouldn't be opposed to Battle March kits, but I've just not really been too keen on the system of having characters in boxes and stuff, right? Because you should be able to jump in with some basic infantry alongside some cavalry, you know, some round special units, and then add characters as you wish. What I'm kind of worried about is certain packs that have come out for like 40k, for example, where yeah, there's like a named character and there's no incentive to buy that again, or a very specific character that you can only use once. While we really don't have a lot of named characters in Old World just yet, it's only a matter of time. So I'm just kind of looking towards the future. The second thing is, well, we are in year 3 of the first edition. There is a, you know, usually 3-year cycle, which I'm not too keen on the idea. I do feel like 4 years would probably be better. Hell, maybe even 5. There's a lot of mainline systems. So it's only a matter of time until we jump into a potential second edition, and they're probably removing the battalions because these things kind of like get redone. Again, this is why I think the Battle March system will kind of replace the battalion boxes. I'm not against the second edition. I feel like all we need is a brand new rule book and then we can go from there. I'm just worried about the previous arcane journals because they're pretty damn good, and I don't want to see a new edition kind of lose that. There's been like talk about the potential of them just becoming evergreen for a while, which if that's the case, yeah, by all means, we need that to happen. The big thing is, if we are going towards a second edition, they have to start looking about the future. We're still missing a lot of things, and I know some people have been very vocal about it. What my main hope is just a massive book, a redo of the rulebook, and just go from there. There's a lot of stuff that's pretty much outdated and has been outdated very, very quickly, especially when we got into that 1.5 era, but that was kind of expected considering that Old World was basically based on 6th edition, and that would mean that there was going to be some teething issues when translating that into a more modern standard with new types of combat, new types of magic, and also new armies and units coming in. I do wonder what the plan is for the future, regardless of what happens. With, well, Kislev is still missing. We've got no word on Kislev and some of the legacy factions. The legacy factions themselves have been a hot topic for a fair amount of time because they're not really in Age of Sigmar. We don't know what's going to happen, especially with recent rumors of whatever the hell is going on with AOS. The Dark Elves are gone. The vampires seem to be kind of turning into werewolf vampires. I'm not sure what's going on there. Those should be coming back to us. Hell, when the ogres eventually get their redo in Age of Sigmar, I imagine that the ogre kingdoms, which are very important geographically to Cathay, yeah, I imagine that they'll come back to us too. It's just a matter of time. My theory right now is that they're waiting for a possible 2nd edition, so that way they can jump into the legacy factions and Kislev. Kind of similar to what they did to 1st edition, where it was a slow grow, but that meant a lot of sales, which they could then do again. Have that for Dark Elves, for Vampire counts, for a small amount of them, and then slowly update the models of the core factions first, alongside the release of Kislev to make sure that the sales keep consistent, with then a possible 3rd edition, then bringing in another race and updating the legacies, which have now been there as a core for a while. Maybe that's just a general assumption. The thing is, it's very obvious that there was a lot of money to be made when 1st edition dropped, because it was, what, every 1.5 months to 2 months, it was a new army, new army, new army, and loads of people were jumping right in. So they probably want to kind of redo that. It's not very realistic, but this is Games Workshop, and they don't work on realistic standards too. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe they're going to keep on 1st edition for a while. It would be great, in my opinion, just have a new rule book and that's it. But, yeah, things do change, and we are getting closer. The army boxes disappearing is a weird thing. It's definitely strange, and it does point me towards like a possible new edition. But we're going to have to wait and see. I don't imagine it's going to be too long until we start hearing some Old World news again. It has been a while, obviously, since the Cathayans got their drop, and we didn't really get anything. Well, we got nothing at Adepticon, so I'm imagining they're gearing up for something. I'm hoping it's the redo of the Chaos Warriors, but I'm also scared that it's going to be the redo of the Chaos Warriors because, well, yeah, I mean, look, the new Norskins are great, but they don't really have a lot of kit bash stuff. You know, they're very monopose, and I'm kind of worried that that might be a thing going forward. But let's see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Once again, the tabletop channel is linked in the description below, alongside a pinned comment. There should be a new video coming out tomorrow. I'm just about to sit down to paint it. I know, it's quite of a weird thing doing the day before, but I have been kind of busy this week, and I have been planning out a few other videos. Actually, the original video that was going to come out tomorrow has been pushed till next week because it fits the theme better. But yeah, have a great day, everyone. Bye.